Alright, hello everyone, it's CPAT here with another Exceed commentary. And today we have another Backyard Brawl match. This is going to be round 4 of Backyard Brawl. 5-round Swiss tournaments. Both of these players, Teketria and Feathers, I believe, are 2-1. Teketria, I think we casted his match week 1, I want to say. And Feathers, I know we just casted last week. I don't remember if we casted them besides last week or not. Maybe week 1. I don't know. Actually, I think we did cast them week 1 or week 2. We did. But it looks like we are going to be off with the draft shortly. Or actually, it looks like the draft is already done. We have Leah Whitefang, Potemkin, and Soul Bad Guy for Teketria. And my phone is on. Let's turn that off. And we're going to have Chip, Hockerman, and Axel for Feathers. No real surprises here. We've seen Teketria before. He's been rocking the Potemkin and the Soul. I think the Leo might be a bit of a surprise. But the Potemkin and the Soul are certainly not. As for Feathers, he's been rocking the Chip and the Hockerman. Axel might be a new pick for him. Actually, no, Axel, he picked last week. Actually, he just picked this exact roster last week into Feathers. So actually just no surprises here. I think maybe week 2 he picked Anji, but has opted for the Axel instead this time around. So let's see who we get. Looks like they're doing stuff in their bags. Well, Feathers is just out here. He's just made his selection just like without even the bag. Suddenly it looks like it's going to be Soul versus Axel for game 1. Should be an interesting one. Soul likes to brawl at range 1. Axel very much likes to play keep away. It's going to be Hockerman versus Leo for game 2. And then the rubber match, if we do have it, is Potemkin versus Chip. Last week we actually saw Hockerman versus Potemkin. And Chica was really performed well on the Potemkin. But unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing that matchup today. We'll be seeing a new one, but yeah, looks like players are going to be off soon. Take a look at Axel's UA here. Normals have +0 to 2 range for -1 speed. So mostly an upside, but can be a downside at range 4. Soul, of course, gets extra power when he cancels. Take a look at the Soul kit. He has an extra assault. He has this mid-speedy shape here. 5 speed, just generally a good trading shape. Fafnir is a mid-speed that can get pumped up to 7 power, I guess, with the Soul UA. Wild Throw, of course, is your grasp beating option. Also beats trades well with Focus or Sweep, or beats Focus or Sweep, depending on how much power is boosted. And of course, there is a slow dive / a 1-4 sweep like in the NRV. Ultras, we have the Heavy Mob Cemetery, which I feel like we don't really see very much use. The Tyrant Rave is a DP shape for 2 gauge, but Flame of Corruption also a really good boost. And of course, Soul is going to be one of those characters that likes to boost cancel a lot, right? So we'll be boosting some of these +1 power boosts and then immediately canceling it into Strike, so he gets +2 power. Now Strike for a gauge, which is very powerful. Axel's kit here, he has a Whirl. So a range 3 speed 6 option that generally beats everything with a push. A Single Flash, which is a fast fireball. 5 speed, 2 power. Rainwater, which is an on-curve range 4 option. Axel Bomber, which is a really solid melee option. 6 power with gain advantage as well. Winter Mantis, it can be a full screen command grab with both Ignore Armor and Ignore Guard. We just saw a One Vision yesterday. If you guys missed yesterday's match, yesterday was the first time we actually casted Axel. But this is a fun little card, right? So it draws you a bunch of cards. It is under curve, only 1 to 2. 5 power, not great, but look at that boost. Look at that boost. Play 3 actions. Single Storm is the other Ultra here. Mid-speedy shape, generally trades quite well for only a 2 gauge. If you go up against a fast, you have 8 Delta, which is really good. And I think he has 4 copies of Single Flash as well. But anyway, it looks like Feathers will be going first. This is actually my first time seeing Feathers on the Axel. Initiating Strike here, so we're looking at Sickle Flash, or we're looking at Rainwater, we're looking at Dive. I don't think it's a Dive. We're actually looking at Bait. Not Bait, excuse me. It's not Bait, because, of course, Axel... Sorry, so Night Ray Vortex will go first. We'll hit for 4. And, of course, Sweep with the -1 speed will go second, but this is a 1 to 5 sweep. We'll hit back for 6. Pull's actually the second copy of Night Raid Vortex, funnily enough. So that option is down early for Soul, which kind of sucks because this is kind of his like main way to close in combat. This is a little bit unfortunate to see it drop so early, but anyway, it's going to be hit +1 power, draw 2, canceled into a strike. So we have fast, slow, mid-speed mix-up here. Could be grasp, could be sweep or focus, could be a wild throw as well. So Feather just has to guess what the option is. And of course, if Soul wins, this is going to be a big win for Soul. He has hit draw 2 on this combat as well. It's going to be a wild swing slash, and that's going to be no good. Soul with the early grasp here, 5 damage incoming. Probably want to keep Axel close. Don't want to put Axel too far away. And yeah, actually keeps Axel at range 1, just switches aside, although Axel now has space behind him. But has a 5 damage grasp with hit draw 2 on it as well, so a little bit of a mini reload for Soul as he takes the life lead here. Wild Swing Slash obviously not going to do anything. Back to Axel here, both players with 4 cards in hand. Axel does have a ton of movement boost, right? He has Retreat 2 or 3 on this boost. He has Move 1 on this boost. He has Push on this boost. So surely... Maybe Axel would have some kind of movement boost here. And yeah, in fact, it is the Retreat 2 or 3 will be cancelled. Slow Waker will be cancelled into a strike. We are at range 3. Range 3 makes us a little bit wonky for Axel, though. In fact, it's just going to be the whirl shape that we talked about. Snail, push 1, draw 1. Soul attempts to defend on curve, which makes sense, because technically the normals are -1 speed, right? But of course, Snail is above curve. It'll be 3 damage to Soul, putting him back to range 3. Finally, it's going to be the Bandit Revolver boosted for Soul. Now close 1, draw 1, hit, the opponent must discard a random card. Moves him into range 3, where of course Soul has a very, very potent range 3 option in the form of Gunflame. Also has the mix-up with a card like Bandit Bringer. Where's Bandit Bringer? There it is. Anyway, it's going to be Smell of the Game boosted. That's hit +1 power, adds to your gauge into a strike. Range 3 mix up for Soul, 1 snail down. However, and moreover, because Excel's not exceeded yet, an option like Cross, while it does have max range, doesn't have main speed, Grasp will perform really well, though. Grasp is speed 6, so that does break the speed tie. And in fact, it was just a second copy, or I don't know if it's second copy. It was going to be just Slash for Soul, and that's going to unfortunately be no good, as Axel does 3 damage, pushes Soul further back. As Axel will be able to gauge number 2. It's 3 damage incoming, so not the most damaging option, but the Grasp basically beats everything there. Everything that Soul represents with 1 card. Grasp beats. Even the Night Raid Vortex. So yeah, Soul pushed all the way back to range 5. Definitely not the place to be, although both players will probably just prep. Axel preps here. I expect Soul to prep with only 2 cards in hand, yeah. Goes up to 4. Axel at range 5 can represent the range 3 mix-up, right? Of Assault, Dive, Spike, Sweep. Can also just play Sickle Flash as well. But it looks like Axel is just going to be setting a strike here. So again, probably Slash Dust or Sickle Flash. It's going to be Teketria attempting to block. And yeah, it is the 1 to 5 sweep. So Axel will yoink a card out of Soul's hand. And this is, of course, 6 damage incoming. Teketria doesn't have a ton of force to his name, so we'll probably spend 1 force and take no damage, or spend an ultra and take no... We'll spend 1 force and take 2 damage, maybe spend an ultra, take no damage. Looks like he opts for the former. That will take 2 damage from the sweep. And Teketria with only 1 card in hand will either dashes or moves in. But in fact, it is going to be the Axel Exceed. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Axel's Exceed does cost 3. So Feathers does have to spend the remainder of his gauge. Of course, has a draw 2 and retreat up to 2 on it. So draws 2 first, chooses to retreat all the way back to range 7. Range 7, Axel can't really do a whole lot, right? Normals don't hit. Just making sure, yeah. Making sure that's... The Succeed is resolved properly. Yeah, it is because of 3 gauge ultra. So, hello, Twinge. Welcome. Yeah, there we go. I think Teketria just prepped, but Axel should be discarding one friend of turn. Just discards the card he drew. Range 7 is a little bit, like, far away. It's, like, really, like, awkwardly far. Winter Madness, obviously, is a card that hits, but then that kind of, like, ruins your whole range game, right? Just for 5 damage. So while it's a really good option in the late game, and you'll be up 10 life, do you really want to be pulling Soul all the way to range 2? But it looks like it's going to be the Wiser Marks boosted, +1 power. After the opponent is stunned, draw 1. And yeah, none of the... So Sickle Flash and Winter Madness are the only options that work here at range 7. Of course, Dive only works up to range 6. Which is the furthest reaching normal Exceed. So yeah, curious decision for Axel to move all the way back to range 7. Would have thought that maybe he would have stuck around the 5 to 6 range. Still allows Teketria to prep a whole bunch. Doesn't really pressure Teketria too much to move in. Although surely Axel will strike with a Sickle Flash if he has it. Yep, initiates the strike, so it's either going to be the Sickle Flash or the Winter Madness. As we Teketria just initiating a block, and it actually is the Winter Madness, okay. So pulls Soul all the way to the corner. Or almost to the corner, and then advances past him. It's going to be a 6 damage. I feel like Teketria should be at 11. No, he started at 16, so it should be at 10. So it's going to be 6 damage with the Wiser Marks. Axel will draw 1 as well. Still has the EX Cross, which is something to be concerned about here for Axel, for Soul initiating at range 2. With 7 in hand, 16 deck, not super likely. But Soul hits right back. So you range 2 Dust. Axel attempts to block, but that's no good. 5 damage back to Axel here. A little bit of brawling going on here. Although now it's going to be the Make Oneself boosted, +1 speed. Now move 1, moves back to range 3. And of course Axel... with no speed downside once he exceeds right on his normals. But it's going to be the free boosted. Soul says, let me move to range 1. We'll cancel immediately. Just goes into the Wild Swing. Teketria loves Wild Swing at range 1, so we're not really too surprised here with what's going on. It's going to be a Focus, but unfortunately it's just a Wild Swing Grasp. So the Grasp will go first, we'll hit for 2. And the Focus will go ahead and hit back for 4. So not the best looking trade there for Soul, down to just 6 HP. But, I mean, just rely on the top of the deck to try to make something happen there. But unfortunately, Feathers calls it correctly with the Focus. That's our second Grasp for Soul down as well. But looks like it's going to be the March of the Wicked King boosted. So, looks like Feathers are going to be spending 2 Force. So we'll be drawing 4 and pushing Soul 2. Of course, Feathers will have to discard a whole bunch for end of turn. But range 3 definitely favors Axel once he exceeds, right? Can just go super above curve, and Soul can't really do a whole lot about it. Looks like we'll be discarding a Dive and an Axel Bomber for that. I don't know if Feathers drew for end of turn or not. I'm assuming he did. And it's going to be an Area Shift, cancel into a Wild Swing again for Soul. Try to make something happen, but down 14 to 6, can't really live too many more combats, right? Has to try to win this cleanly. Has +1 power on the strike. Cross is just a really, really good option here for Axel. Both Grasps are down for Soul. And both Night Raid Vortexes are down for Soul. So unless Soul Wild Swings his own Cross, it's going to be no good. The Bandit Bringer will actually go first, so we'll miss. And then the block will just get added to gauge. So, yeah, I mean, Teketria doesn't even find a card that hits, which is a little bit unfortunate. And the Bandit Bringer, it's a spike shape. And it's going to be a slow waker, cancelled, so retreat 2 or 3. Again, Axel's 4 of these, so yeah, pretty spooky. Into a strike here, looks like. Again, normal is at plus 0 to 2 range, so every normal except grasp hits at this range. Both sweeps are down, so I don't think Axel can kill from this range. Maybe we're looking at something like a Rainwater. Oh, it's going to be EX Dive, and it is a Rainwater. Oh, Teketria calls it out perfectly. Comes into range 1 as well. It was EX Dive, so this should be 6 damage there. Pops the Rainwater with only 4 speed. Calls it out very well, just Teketria. Teketria just preps. Axel at range 1 will have to find some way to leave. This is not where you want to be against a soul bad guy with any sort of gauge. And yeah, finds the dash to get out of the corner. Will this be cancelled? It looks like Feathers is considering whether to cancel this boost or not. Of course, Soul can move forward and strike with a boost like Free. Or Area Shift. And Area Shift will be happening once more. It's going to be Area Shift into a strike from hand this time, so we know that this is a naturally good option. It's going to be the Gunflame, which will go first. We'll hit for 2 after armor. Gunflame just closes, so Teketria will stay at range 1, and will get hit back for 2 in response. Teketria does gain advantage off this. Both players sit at like very low life totals, so this could just be it. If Teketria has a cancelable boost in hand, he could just go for the strike cancel, and then and yeah, Teketria just yeah, should be +1 power on that strike for the Gunflame. Yeah, they got it. And now, if Teketria has a cancelable boost in hand, this could be curtains. But no, just a prep. Gives Axel a turn. And Axel, yeah, takes that turn right away, retreats 2 or 3. Retreating 3 would be problematic, because I'm pretty sure Soul is just out of range 4 options. Yeah, Soul is just out of range 4 options here. Both dives are down, both Night Ray Vortexes are down. So Axel chooses range 4 and then sets a strike here. Pretty sure a card like Spike is just checkmate here. Dust, excuse me, for Axel. Because there's no way Soul can actually run up to Axel here without the Night Ray Vortexes or the dives, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, looks like a card like Dust is just checkmate here. Unfortunately for Soul. Just one combat away from winning, but just ran out of juice. I'm assuming this is Dust, by the way. Maybe it's not Dust, but I don't see why you wouldn't play Dust here. I mean, if you don't have it, then obviously you don't play it, but we are calling checkmate, so of course when we call checkmate, we are obviously wrong on that. But it looks like there's no option for Soul that beats Dust here, unfortunately. If it's not Dust for Axel, it could be another Rainwater. Could be Sickle Flash. Could be Slash. Could be Cross. Could be a whole host of options. Basically, actually, those are right, I think. As Teketria checks that discard one more time. Two in hand, 7 in deck for Axel. So, I mean, somewhat likely that a Dust has been drawn. At this point, you just have to play like it's not Dust. I don't know how many armor options Teketria has left. I think he's down both blocks. As both players now check Teketria's discard, as Feathers puts a blindfold on. Focus has armor on it, and it's a grasp? What? It's a grasp? So grasp misses. Of course, focus will miss as well. Actually, let me just, as soon as Teketria stops looking at his discard, let me go ahead and fix that. Okay. There we go. It's be an expenditure of 3 force for Teketria to move into range 1. Grasp, of course, only hits 1 to 3, so yeah, that misses obviously, and then focus will at least draw a card. Will mitigate the 0 damage from the grasp. So immediately moves into range 1. Doesn't have a ton of force to his name. 2 cards engaged, 2 cards in hand. As Axel, you probably don't want to be here. You're down both grasps. If you have cross in hand, that might be... It could be safe to strike in, unless, of course, there's a Tyrant Rave, which I think there could be. Wait, are they playing like they... I didn't realize that... Thank you. I didn't realize that they were... Sorry, thank you for commenting on that. I did not realize that they were playing like the grasp hits. Okay. Okay, they've got it. They're just a little bit slow today. Didn't realize that they were playing like the grasp hit, because of course the grasp misses. But looks like they're figuring it out now. That's gonna be a Dogs on the Run boosted. No cancel. So, I mean, if Soul wants to get a range 1 cancel going, he could obviously boost Banditbringer if he has it. That's also notably second Snail down. So no more of those whirls. So Teketria spending 1 force in the form of focus to move to range 2, threatening that Tyrant Rave, perhaps. Tyrant Rave is a perfect 5 power in this position. Axel is also out of grasps, I believe, so can't really contend with the DP shape unless he has EX Cross in hand. And if you're initiating EX Cross here, it's a big telegraph. I don't know if that's even an option that's available for Axel here. But Axel finds himself on short side of board. Looks like it's going to be an expenditure of 3 force at the very least. And wow, Feathers reveals the dust in hand as well. He had the dust. He had the checkmate. Feathers had the checkmate, and he threw it away, right? I'm pretty sure he didn't shuffle his hand or anything. Well, maybe he didn't have it, but I don't know, because multiple turns have passed. Dude, only 1 turn has passed. Did he really have the dust? And he didn't. He just didn't pull the trigger on it. Does Axel have another Sickle Storm? I believe there is Sickle Storm. I believe there are multiple. There's at least 1 copy of this card left. This does contend well into the Tyrant Rave. If not, there has to be if not 1, then 2. Then there has to be 2 Sickle Storms left at least. There has to be at least 1. I don't remember seeing the other one. Maybe it was used as force, but there's no way we've seen 2 of them. Also, Feathers reveals his hand and then takes it back. His hand is Spike, Dust, and 1 Vision. Now Teketria checks discard. What's happening here? Surely counts aren't off. I mean, Axel has 22 in discard, 2 in gauge, that's 24, 2 in hand, that's 26, 6 in deck, that's 32, so counts aren't off. I don't know what's going on here, if I'm being honest. But Axel should have at least one card, one Sickle Storm left in deck, which of course does contend with the Tyrant Rave. Believe that's the only armored option for Axel. Yeah. Both focuses are down. Both blocks are down as well. It's going to be an expenditure of 3 force. Change cards 3 to draw 4. Perhaps digging for those Sickle Storms. As Teketria just preps himself. Does Axel have a winning cancel here, perhaps? Well, can't even cancel if he wants to strike with the Sickle Storm when he has 2 gauge. I don't know. Is there an area shift play maybe for Axel here that might do the trick? I really hope this Dust wasn't in hand when Axel struck with a range 4 Grasp, because that is just a throw, like plain and simple throw. That's gonna mean area shift, cancel, pushing Soul 2. So yeah, area shift is involved here. Into a strike. Unfortunately, I don't know what options are left for Axel at this point. I wonder if there's a second Dust left for Axel. Teketria Wild Swings the Tyrant Rave, and it is the Dust, and this is checkmate. Yep, the range 4 Dust is checkmate. Feathers finds it in the end, and takes game 1. Although it got a little hairy towards the end. For sure. But Axel able to zone Soul out for a good amount of the game. Soul did come back in with an hit with a couple big melee strikes, but it wasn't enough. Soul kind of ran out of resources towards the end, as did Axel. But Axel did have the gauge to cancel movement boosts to strikes, right? And Axel is a character with a lot of movement boosts. Has 4 retreat boosts, has area shift along with everyone else, has multiple, has dash like everyone else. Also has advanced 2 or 3 as well, 2 copies of that. And unfortunately, that's just too much for too much movement for Soul to catch up. And able to win with the checkmate Dust finally finding that line to take game number 1 in a rather close fashion, right? 5-0. So only 1 comment away was Teketria for winning that game. Anyway, it's gonna be game number 2. We're gonna have Feathers on the Hakumen, and we're gonna have Teketria on the Leo. Of course, we've seen a good amount of both of these characters recently. Hakumen, of course, builds gauge on front side, and then has reduced gauge costs on backside. Whereas Leo, of course, doesn't really have a front side UA, but when he exceeds, he basically goes into his second, more stronger form. Whereas Wild Swings are empowered; they have +1 power, +1 speed. And he can stay in that form as long as he strikes at the end of every turn. So it looks like we have two decks here. Take a look at the kits here. Hakumen has a range 2 option in the Enma. Notably, all of Hakumen's specials cost gauge. Here's an above curve, range 4, kind of fast divey type card. Renka is a kick shape, a little bit low damage here, only 4 damage. Yanagi is a 1-4 counterattack move. Zatetsu, of course, is your 7 power ignore armor special. Yukikaze is your I cannot die card, this strength card, and Shippu is your super slow, but big heavy counterattack. Can get up to 8 power at melee range. For Leo here, we have Blitzschlag, which is not a great looking card without those Wild Swing bonuses. With the Wild Swing bonuses, though, this card becomes amazing. Pride also a really good boost. Gravierte Verde is a slow fireball shape, but Brynhilder's Stance is a great boost, allowing you to exceed Key Charge and take another action. Just so much loaded on that one boost. Zweitzkaltskesturber, and again, I'm not pronouncing these correctly at all, is a fast dive, but also a type 1 shape, giving you the bonus of exceeding if you cross past the opponent. Eisensturm, card we don't see a whole lot. Reminiscent of like a flash kick, I guess. I don't know. Actually, not really. It doesn't even move the opponent. Count Shield, of course, functions best as a counterattack. Hail the King, another very, very strong boost for Leo. Ultras here, he has range dodge in the Leidenschaft des Dirigenten. At 0 speed, though, so like a really high committal one. And then Cell Verbal, 2 to 8, 6-0. But of course, last week we saw Chica pump this up to 20 speed when Leo exceeds. But anyway, it's going to be Leo initiating strike here at range 4. Options accrue the Gravierte Verde or the Gestober. So fast slow here. It could just be dive as well. Could be bait as well. Could also be the Con Shield. Hawkman just going to focus this. And what are we playing here for Leo? It is the Gravierte Verde, so which will go first. We'll hit for 3 after armor. The focus will go ahead and hit back for 4, though. I think focus trades with all the options here, right? Focus trades with Gravierte Verde, trades with Gestober, because obviously that advances. And then Con Shield. Oh, I guess Con Shield and that other card both miss. Anyway, Leo moves into range 2. It is now Hawkman's turn. Can't prep, unfortunately. Well, you can prep. You can prep discard, but I don't know if that's something Feathers is willing to do early. Of course, Hawkman on front side on any turn that he does not strike. It's like, actually, Hawkman just spends a force in the form of Gurren to move in range 1. Hawkman adds the top card of deck to Gauge, so a little bit of a Gauge monster. We're going to see the second Gravierte Verde boosted for the Brynhilder stance. Exceed, add this to your Gauge particular action into a Wild Swing. Of course, Leo's Wild Swings have +1/+1 on them. Leo seems like the kind of character that can brawl with Hawkman, actually. Especially with these added stat bonuses. I don't know if range 1's the best place to Wild Swing, though, but it's going to be Grasp defensively from Hawkman, beating out the 6-speed Blitzschlag. 3 damage to Leo there. And it's going to be Hawkman immediately boosting Bass Step, says, I don't want to interact with you. Both your 2 to 6 cards are down. Leo's going to Wild Swing anyway. Maybe Hawkman could get a cheeky counterattack incoming here. If Leo were to advance with the strike, which some cards advance Leo, right? Gestober advances Leo. Obviously, Dive and Assault. It's just going to be a block played for Hawkman. It's going to be Wild Swing Grasp, obviously, doesn't do anything. Wouldn't be surprised if Hawkman just preps again. No, Boost Defend, which is an interesting. Sure, I guess. I mean, turns things into counterattacks, I guess. Leo, of course, will just Wild Swing here, plus at range 6. Again, nothing hits. This is just, I'll play, yeah, sure. Hawkman has 6 Gauge with the Defend on the board. Maybe Hawkman just Wild Swings as well. Really, the worst result would be if Hawkman were to Assault and then Dive. But no, it's going to be the Gestober, which will go first. Advance 2 will miss. Leo at range 4. Cross, of course, will go second. Will also miss. Leo moves up to range 4, sure. Hawkman probably just preps again. Or Hawkman should be prepping. Yeah, there's a prep. Did Hawkman draw like 3 cards there? What? Did Hawkman draw 3 cards? He must have only drawn 2. Anyway, it's going to be Leo Wild Swinging again. That's going to be block played from hand. Dust misses. Hawkman builds Gauge number 8 with that block. So ready to exceed, although not the best looking Gauge here. Probably want some 1 or 2 more free ultras. Of course, when Hawkman exceeds, he gets to recur cards from his Gauge to, well, what becomes his overdrive area, but what starts as his Gauge. And not the best looking cards here to recur. And there are 2 blocks in there, there's a focus in there, but no ultras. There's a couple Zentetsus in there too, but no ultras. Um, but looks like Feathers are gonna. He's made space for his overdrive area, although I don't think he's gonna take it just yet. He's got 12 in deck, so basically Hawkman can wait to exceed until he almost runs out of cards in his deck, and he's got 12 cards left in his deck, so he's got a long time before Hockey needs to feel forced to exceed. And in fact, I would be surprised if Hawkman does exceed here. Seems a little premature given this gauge layout, but Feathers looks like he's making space for it. At the very least. Nope. Goes ahead and boosts Tsubaki. That's before spend up to 3 gauge for +1 power each. Leo just goes ahead, wild swings again. This is really really high quality gameplay. But of course, I mean, this is the character, right? Oh, it's gonna be Hakumen responding with a Shippu. Blitzschlag will miss. Shippu will hit back for force, and this is an expensive committal here for Hakumen, but Hakumen is totally fine with this. Still has 6 gauge left, right? After spending 4 here. Surely you don't spend on the Tsubaki. Right, because you want to be maintaining gauge for exceeding in the future. Yeah, it looks like the Tsubaki will be resolved without spending any gauge for it. And it's going to be gauge number 6 built for Hakumen. Will be 4 damage to Leo. Just chipping away. Just really chipping away. Although Hakumen is running out of defensive options. Both blocks, both focuses, and a Shippu are down. So maybe, I don't know, spending Shippu there. Both good and bad. Because obviously just all these armored options are down. Hakumen doesn't have a ton of innate armor, right? Looks like Fierce is being boosted for Hakumen, though. As a Yukikaze gets dropped into the gauge. Leo just wild swings once more. Just really emergent gameplay here from Teketria. But again, that's the character, right? It's going to be Sweep. It's going to be a Grass. Both of them miss. Hakumen, once he passes turn here, will build gauge number 8 to exceed. With 27 HP. Leo has made no progress here. As wild swung a bunch of cards that miss at range 6 and now at range 4. As Feathers checks the discard here. Surely Feathers just preps, though. Preps builds gauge number 8 and then exceeds on the following turn. Maybe you can boost Massive to make your cards more likely to hit at range 4. That's another potential play that Hakumen has, if second Yukikaze is in this hand, of course. That's 5 in hand, 7 in deck for Hakumen. 3 in hand, 19 in deck for Leo. Just a prep. There's gauge number 8. Leo wild swings once more. It's going to be a sweep. It's going to be a dive. So, I mean, Leo finally gets in. It's going to be 6 damage. Yep. It's going to be 6 damage dive incoming. Sweep will go ahead and hit back for 6 as well. And now it's time for Hakumen to exceed. Especially with Leo so close, so yeah, it's definitely time for Hakumen to exceed. Probably just leave like the Enma engage. Enma's not a particularly great card, especially in this matchup with only 3 guard. It's not going to guard anything, and Leo can just randomly strike you above curve anyway, so, or on curve, right, with something like Slash. So yeah, probably leave the Enma engage, exceed with everything else. Makes sense to me. And of course, when Hakumen exceeds, his gauge costs are reduced to 0. We'll have to reshuffle here. And then on overdrive, can return cards from discard to hand. So okay, it's going to be Leo striking once more from range 1. Wonder if second Shippu is in the hand of Feathers here. Second Yukikaze performs pretty well as well. It's going to be the Shippu incoming. And the Con Shield... well, the Shippu will go first, will hit for 8. The Con Shield is not stunned and will hit back for 1. But that is, or will hit back for 2, excuse me. But that's not a trade that you want there. Yeah, wow. And this kind of mindless striking clearly is just not working out for Leo here. this kind of macro game plan that Teketria has brought to the table has just really been unfavorable into the Hawkman, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty brutal here. Wait, Hawkman discards block, brings second Shipu to hand. Just strikes with Shipu, and that's game over. Okay, sure. That felt like a little bit of a meme of a game. I'll be honest. Yeah, I guess we've learned what not to do into Hakumen today. If I'm being honest, with this Leo into the Hakumen just with a dominant win here. Like, technically it was yeah. This is well, we've learned how not to play Leo and Talkman today. And it was this. But anyway, it's gonna be game number 3. Both players have agreed to just play it out. Feathers moves up to 3-1 in the bracket, so still has a chance to win. Although his chance to win is like kind of a little bit screwed over because Feathers actually lost to Chica, who's the 4-0 competitor left in the bracket. So I think Feathers might actually not have a chance to win. It might be like a fake chance to win. But anyway, third match here is going to be between Chip from Feathers and it's going to be Potemkin for Teketria here. I can't really. I would imagine this is a tough matchup for Potemkin, but because Potemkin's like range options are kind of low damage, and then like it's just like avoiding. Like he's just so good at avoiding. Although some of Potemkin's counterattacks are like have like a wide berth to them, right? Like this is technically a 1-4. This is a 1-8, but I don't know. It feels like it's gonna be a tough matchup for Potemkin here. Although I've not seen it in action before. Take a look at Potemkin's kit here. He has Garuda Impact, which is like a weird mid speed that just discards cards, but doesn't actually like beat, focus, or sweep. Hammerfall is a slow dive, slash a 1-4 sweep as well, but really low guard on it, really low damage on it. Heat Knuckle is kind of a sweep like itself. Mega Fist is an assault like. As we see the Harakiri boosted. Looks like Potemkin just preps turn 1. It's gonna be Harakiri boosted, +1 speed, now advance 2, draw 1. For Chip. Potemkin Buster is kind of your it's a mid-speed shape, right? So it'll beat your slows. It beats Grasp as well, but like 6 power by itself is not that impressive. Needs a little bit more juice on it, right, to become really threatening. Only 3 guard as well. Select Lucis, select Random Assault without armor boosts. Slide Head is a full range move that hits, but actually does no damage. Helps Potemkin close in. Gigantic Kai is actually a decent ultra here. Dodges attacks at range 4, and then obviously helps Potemkin close the distance and also gets an advantage on it as well. But great boost, +4 armor, now +1. And of course, Heavenly Potemkin Buster. A little bit of a trick shot move, although we have seen this hit before. Generally, it's recommended that your opponent be in the corner, so obviously this before advance 3 means you don't advance past the opponent. Burly Heart also a good boost, though. Anyway, we're going to see a parry come out here for Potemkin. I wonder what gets parried here. Maybe you parry Zansai Ruka to maybe help deny those +2 speed spikes. Or +2 speed dusts, excuse me. Maybe parry dust itself. Even. You can parry maybe even Alpha Blade. And yeah, it looks like Alpha Blade gets parried here. Back to Chip. Chip goes ahead and boosts Badass, so +2 speed on an X strike. Oh, is Potemkin really think? Oh, Potemkin initiates a strike here into the +2 speed chip. It's a mix-up time, technically. It's going to be Chip playing a 7 damage sweep. The Megafist will actually go first. It's speed 5. So Megafist is a shape that beats Dust, obviously. If Chip had played defensive Dust there, Megafist would have performed well. Instead, the Megafist will go first, play for 2, and the sweep will go ahead and hit back for 7. And Feathers yoinks the Dust out of the hand of Potemkin. Chip does have after move 1 if he wants, and yeah, chooses to move back to range 2. Makes sense to me. Of course, Potemkin gets bonuses at range 1. So you probably don't want to be there. But anyway, that was Potemkin initiating strike, so it's now Chip's turn. Chip's going to go ahead and boost play the hero. That's going to be draw 3, take another action. Good boost. Second action will be... looks like we have to wait a little bit. Second action will be the boosting the Sukiyaki. Attacks at range 1 do not hit you after add this to your gauge. Interesting. Really, really good boost here. Is the Sukiyaki. Back to Potemkin here. Although, I mean, Potemkin still has mid-speeds that I can strike with here at range 2, right? Garuda Impact, still mid-speed that you can strike here at range 2. Potemkin Buster, also mid-speed that you can strike here at range 2. Looks like Potemkin's going to do just that. It's going to be Garuda Impact, and it's going to be Feathers playing the Banki Mesai. Probably wanting to call it the Potemkin Buster, but obviously, like, no. Doesn't work out. It is the Garuda Impact. Also, that... what does that beat? That beats, like, Spike, I guess? Beats Second Dust? I don't... don't really understand this one too much. But anyway, it's going to be the Garuda Impact goes first. We'll hit Chip for 5. Chip also spends a gauge on it as well, so pretty expensive. Strike there from Chip. Does Garuda Impact... okay, Garuda Impact does not discard cards at random, at least. So Chip goes ahead, discards Dust and Spike. Or Dust and Dive, excuse me. Potemkin just goes ahead and initiates another strike at range 2, says, I mean, the last one worked out so well. It's been Chip attempting to block, and it's the second copy of Megafist incoming. So big reload for Potemkin. He advances 1. Chip goes ahead, because he's not stunned, can after retreat 1 on the strike. Chip takes 1, elects not to spend force on the block, and retreats back to range 2. Only 3 cards in hand probably means that he needs to prep, and yeah, does just that. Although Potemkin has a lot of close 1 boosts, right? Close 1, close 1, close 1, close 1, close 1. Instead, it's going to be the area shift, so same deal. Area shift, cancel, strike. Potemkin initiates a strike at range 1, so has +1 power, +1 armor here. Fast slow mix-up. Could also be the Potemkin Buster, of course. It's going to be the Resho. Okay, so Resho goes first. We'll hit for 2. Will be returned to hand. Chip can move back to range 2. Resho actually hits for 1. And the Potemkin Buster will go ahead and hit back for 7. We'll yoink a random card as well. Yoinks the Suck a Sage, so the free damage that Chip supposedly gets in every matchup is now gone. Well, half of it. because one copy of Suck a Sage and one copy of Dust are down for no damage. Chip uses the after move back to range 2, but obviously the Potemkin Buster still hits. It's going to be Sushi boosted for Chip. Now retreat 2 before if you're at the edge of the arena. Advance 3. Technically, Heavenly Potemkin Buster is a card that hits, but obviously not with its boosted play, right? Obviously not with that boosted play. It's going to be Potemkin initiating a strike into the before advance 3. Pretty spicy stuff. Wonder if this is just focus. Could be like a Hammerfall in theory. This is actually just going to be the block. Okay, offensive block initiate from Teketria. It's going to be a Grasp for Chip. Grasp will do 1 damage to the block as Teketria chooses to spend 0 force. Pushes Potemkin 2, and then Chip himself retreats 1. So back to range 4 we go. Potemkin builds gauge number 5 for the Potemkin Buster. For the Heavenly Potemkin Buster, excuse me. Although Gigantor Kai is looking like a good option as well. Although, of course, Chip has multiple options at range 4. The Alpha Blade is one of them. That's 6 speed. Only 1 damage, of course, but is an option. Gamma Blade is another option. 3 damage, 3 speed. Looks like both players prep. It's going to be the second Harakiri boosted for Feathers. Plus 1 speed, now advance 2, draw 1. We'll draw 1. Probably cancels this boost. Well, actually, elects not to cancel this and overdraws, so we'll have to discard for new turn. Drops the Beta Blade. It's going to be Kara cancel boosted. Close 1, draw 1. Will Potemkin cancel this? He will. Probably just going into a strike now. At range 1, of course, still gets the bonuses. Wouldn't be surprised if this is just something like a... Ooh! Slash is not what I expected into a plus 1 speed, I'll say that much. Slash, of course, will... Grass will go first at speed 8. Will hit Potemkin for 2. Slash, of course, gets stunned out. Slash is a pretty risky play into the plus 1 speed. I mean, not that risky, because obviously just took the 2 damage there and has 1 armor on it to trade with the slows, but still. It's going to be a parry coming in for Chip. That's second block down, notably. Parry whiffs, however. We see a hand of EX Hammerfall, a Slide Head, a Heat Knuckle, and a Heavenly Potemkin Buster. Notably huge, allows Heavenly Potemkin Buster to hit like way more reliably, I will say. So that could be scary. Although I think Potemkin actually doesn't have 4 gauge to cancel the huge is the thing. So parry whiffs. We actually don't know what was parried. Maybe like a sweep. It's gonna be Potemkin initiating a strike here. It's a Hammerfall Heavenly Potemkin Buster mix up. So not the scariest thing in the world for Chip to deal with. Chip just attempts to cross out. Oh, but Slide Head is also a guard? Yeah, sure. Slide Head goes ahead, hits for 0. Forgot that was in the hand. Yoinks the second Suck a Sage. Sad that the Heat Knuckle was initiated with. But yeah, Slide Head, of course, with the sweep effect. After it closes 2, so Potemkin now at range 5. Chip preps. Technically, there's a world where we can huge cancel into the Potemkin Buster here. There's a world where we can huge cancel into Potemkin Buster here. And... but no. Doesn't happen here. Just a huge cancel into prep. Huge cancel into Potemkin Buster, like, works a lot more than you'd think. I feel like. Interesting that he cancels into prep, though. Because if Chip does nothing at range 5, you can huge cancel, and then suddenly your Potemkin Buster hits 1 to 3. And I feel like that's way more likely to hit Chip here. If Feathers takes like a null turn. It's going to be Chip taking the Exceed action. Okay. I've not seen Chip do this before. Just gets draw 1 when he cancels. Interesting. I've not seen Chip take the Exceed action before, I will say. But see, like how sick would it have been if last turn Teketria didn't cancel, but this turn he cancels, right? This turn he cancels a second huge into the Heavenly Potemkin Buster. A 1 to 3 Heavenly Potemkin Buster hits so often. It hits so often. Um, that would be that would be I chip down both blocks as well. That would be very fun. Yeah, but Potemkin had 5. So what I'm talking about is, so Teketria 2 turns ago, he canceled his huge into prep. So what I'm saying is, if he had not canceled that into prep, if he had just let that sit, have 5 gauge at the end of that turn 2 turns ago, he would then be able to huge and then cancel that into the Heavenly Potemkin Buster, and that is just guaranteed to hit. A 1 to 3 Heavenly Potemkin Buster from this position is so guaranteed to hit. Unfortunately, Teketria canceled a little bit early and chose to prep instead. So has a healthier hand for what it's worth. Has a lot of resources to his name. But anyway, it is Chip's turn. Chip at range 5, a little bit out, a little bit, yeah, a little bit in nowhere. So we'll advance 3, we'll cancel it, so we'll draw a card off the cancel, of course. And what will the second action be? Right, like Potemkin, how many Potemkin Buster hits would hit like this? Like if Chip were to like randomly advance 3, how many Potemkin Buster would hit, etc., etc. But okay, it's gonna be Chip initiating strike here at range 2. Technically, I wouldn't be surprised if it's range 3 mix up live for Chip, but I don't think it is. I mean, by range 3 mix up, I mean like slash spike. It is the dust. It is the dust. That's gonna be 5 damage incoming to Potemkin. Could have also boosted second huge instead of prep. Yeah, he could have. I agree. But no, that's just gonna be a dust incoming. Pops the sweep. It's gonna be 5 damage incoming. It's not gonna be the engage boosted for Potemkin. Now close 1 at the start of your turn. Add the steer gauge. So maybe there's huge shenanigans into Heavenly Potemkin Buster, but I just feel like a 1 to 2 Heavenly Potemkin Buster misses way more often than a 1 to 3 against Chip, of course, with the after movement. But it is going to be Chip initiating strike. No, takes it back. As Teketria checks the discarded feathers here. Feathers with 6 in hand. Oh, only 3 in deck. Okay. Chip going through that deck way faster than I thought he would. For Potemkin, it's 6 in hand, 12 in deck. So for Chip, those options are becoming way more obvious as to what they are. That's going to be Chip initiating strike here at range 2. Ooh. Gave him the Potemkin Buster. Gave it to him. It's just going to be cross for Chip. 3 damage incoming to Potemkin. Potemkin, of course, with the Wild Swing Dust will miss. But gave him the Heavenly Potemkin Buster if he wanted it. Oh, it's gonna be it's gonna be a scramble. Wait, what? It's gonna be scramble, no cancel. Okay, so it says Chip. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I think Feathers thought that scramble was gonna be canceled, and just like instinctively went for the Wild Swing. But no, it's a scramble, no cancel for Potemkin. So it says, Chip, you're going to strike into me right here. Chip has 5 cards in hand, 3 in deck. Right, but this boost says basically, strike into me, please. Strike into me, please. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit of a risky strike. Wait. Okay, no. Okay, yeah. It's gonna be +1/+1, striking from hand. It's gonna be the Gamma Blade at 4 speed. Wait, what? What's going on there? Why did Teketria take his strike back? I'm just asking what's going on there. because Teketria just took a strike back. Oh, I see. Well, I mean, technically, Feathers like revealed a strike, and like Teketria played a strike, so I'm not gonna be like rules arbiter here, but okay, Teketria claims he doesn't see the card. I mean, the set's already over, so I really don't care that much. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it was. That's why you always have defender flip their card first. Although I guess Teketria thought he was the offense, but like Chip strikes with a card there, so like I don't know. I really don't see this. Like personally, like I would. I'm gonna let the players rule on this, but like personally, like what happened was like Feathers initiated a card. Like it was very obvious that he initiated a card. Why else would he initiate a card if it was on his turn, right? But it is what it is. The players are Feathers already won the set. It's game 3 just for kicks, so I'm not gonna argue too much on it. But that's I mean, in my opinion, how it should be ruled is that Teketria should be striking with the card that he just struck with, right? Like, because like it's a Chip was very clearly just using his UA, and like it's on you if you don't know what Chip's UA is, right? In my opinion, but anyway, is a strike from Feathers. It's gonna be a cross. From Teketria, like okay, fine, whatever. Gamma Blade. Teketria will go first. We'll retreat back to range 7. We'll miss, obviously. Gamma Blade hits 1 to 5. Gamma Blade will also miss. Chip does have an after you may advance 3 on this, however. Does Chip want to move into range 4? Probably wants to check what cards are left, 4 in hand, 2 in deck, before committing to that. Although maybe some space behind Chip would be valuable. So that way he doesn't get cornered into a Heavenly Potemkin Buster. Right? So can advance just like 2, right? And that also works. It would have to be a huge cancel for Potemkin. Hopefully Feathers is not running out of options that advance him 3, right? That would be really unfortunate. With only 4 in hand, 2 in deck. That's not okay. So Feathers declines to advance 3. This is not what I expected, I would say. Feathers declines to advance 3, but will advance 1 courtesy of the UA. Teketria goes ahead and boosts Let's Rock. Back to Chip here. It gets teched. Okay. It's now going to be the engage boosted for Potemkin. Now close 1 at the start of turn, add this to gauge. Chip with 4 in hand, 1 in deck. So now options are super clear as to what they are. Does Chip Wild Swings? Okay. I mean, range 5, so a couple options hit, right? Could be that Gamma Blade once more. Could be... Don't think it's Alpha Blade, though. Right, we're at range 5 for Potemkin. Potemkin does have a card ahead, hits at range 5. Of course, that's the 0 damage slide head. I think 1 copy's down, but I don't know if the other one is. I don't think. I think the second copy might be up. Fortunately, this means Chip's hands is known, which is a little bit sketchy, for sure. As Teketria just counts what those last 5 cards for Chip are. Okay. It is going to be, ooh, it's a bait. It's focus. And it's a hammerfall coming in. So the hammerfall will come in first, will miss. And the focus will go ahead and hit back for 3. As Chip shuffles the deck. And draws 1 off the top. So fun little bait there from Feathers. As Potemkin goes ahead and initiates a strike here at range 2. Could be Heavenly Potemkin Buster, right? I think Feathers will be playing around that specific option. Right. Feathers chooses not to play around that specific option. Focus will go first. Will hit for 4. And the Heavenly Potemkin Buster will go ahead and hit back for 11. Oh, wait, no. Heavenly Potemkin Buster will miss. Sorry. Because Chip could, of course, advance. Never mind. It's Chip. Yeah. That's why we want to be pairing our Heavenly Potemkin Busters with Huges. Right? That's why we want to be pairing this card with Huge, because Chip can just dodge things, right? Forgot Heavenly Potemkin Buster with 0 speed. So, Focus, normally a card that goes second. I expected Focus to go second there. It actually goes first. Chip able to dodge the Heavenly Potemkin Buster as, the chat boos. But of course, like, this was never gonna hit to Chip, right? This is never gonna hit. Unless you have Huge, right? This is the lesson we've learned today, right? Like, it's the most mobile character in Exceed. You're gonna need a little bit more than 1 range. Like, this card never hits, right? In that position. Chip's in the corner, fine, maybe. But no, not in that position. Anyway, it's gonna be Shogun boosted for Chip. To get your response with an Armor-Clad Faith. It's +4 guard. Chip initiates a strike here. Whenever this is cross. It's Grasp. Feathers is throwing. The Heavenly Potemkin Buster will go ahead and hit back for 6. Will Yoki card as well. Hopefully Feathers is not throwing this endgame. But just took 6 unnecessary damage. Just strike with Cross, man! Just strike with Cross, man! Why are you striking with Grasp? why are you striking with Grasp here? Just strike with Cross. You have +1 speed. Alright, whatever. It's going to be the Burly Heart boosted for Potemkin. If Potemkin initiates, it gets +2 power. Otherwise, Potemkin gets +3 armor. Did Potemkin discard a card? I think... Wait, why would Potemkin have to discard a card there? Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on. Potemkin would have to discard a card there. Good call, man. Tinted Twitch, I don't know what I'd do without you. I don't know what I'd do without you. I don't know what to do without you. You're just saving game states here. Luckily, it's a discard a card. It's not a random, so we'll just let it rock. So it's fine. Discards a slide head. Now he has. Alright, well. Don't know what we do without you. Tinted Twinge, MVP of the stream, of course. Thank you for being here. Because I'm clearly not paying attention. Clearly not paying enough attention. Anyway, it's a Sukiyaki boosted for Chip. Attacks at range 1 do not hit you after add this to your gauge. Looks like Potemkin preps. Now Chip preps. Potemkin looking like he's going to prep once more. Yep, there it is. Chip's turn once more. Chip gonna go ahead and advance, cancel. We'll draw a card, of course. +2 speed, cancel. We'll draw a card, of course. +1 speed, +1 power, cancel. We'll draw a card, of course. And now setting up for the 6 speed dust to win the game. And Yeah, this is probably going to be curtains here. Yeah, 99% sure, like, crosses down for Potemkin, so... Yeah, there was an area. There were multiple area shifts that happened. So +3 speed is just... +3 speed dust is just checkmate. And Feathers takes us at 3. Well, I mean... Let's not count our chickens yet, because last time we expected Feathers to initiate checkmate dust, he did not. So he's 1 for 2 on initiating checkmate dusts. But no, it is checkmate dust. Feathers takes us at 3-0 over Teketria. The 2 games that mattered were both pretty... They're both pretty dominant, right? I actually can't remember too much of game 1. Game 2 was really silly, and just yeah, I don't think there's much more to be said on that. Game 3 got close, but we learned not to initiate heavily Potemkin Buster into chip without huge backup, right? That's what we learned. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to Tinja Twinge for like helping maintain game state, because clearly I was not on top of it today. I'll be honest. But yeah, if you guys are on Twitch, feel free to leave a follow. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't think I'm going to be casting any more matches until next week. I'm busy all week, unfortunately. So unless there's like a doubleheader going on today, which I do not think there is, we will see you guys next week. If you are Exceed fans, if you guys are Yomi fans, I might be playing some Yomi tonight. I don't know. I think I released 2 episodes today. And if there are people in queue, I will be playing some more Yomi too. But I don't stream that, unfortunately. I just kind of, locally record that, just because I feel like the game is too fast for stream. And I'd rather, like, I don't really want to be paying attention to chat. Just because it's like a really fast-paced game. But maybe I'll stream it. I don't know. Leonte streams Yomi too, and does okay. But I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'll just go ahead and see you guys next week. But until then, guys, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.